So you've decided to get a diffusion filter to try and get that cinematic / filmic look. And if you click this video, seems like you're leaning towards the Black Pro Mist filter. But the question is, what strength do you choose? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down two of the more popular strengths, the 1/8 and the 1/4. I'm also going to test them in some real world situations that you'd probably use them in. And we're going to talk about one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to Black Pro Mist filters in this video. So let's get into it. Now, back in the day, film cameras and even today's cinema cameras and cinema lenses are not as sharp and as digital feeling as the 4K / digital cameras that we use. Not to mention that a majority of us, especially people here on the YouTubes and run and gun videographers, are using photography lenses which are built to be tack sharp and have less character in them. So we add a diffusion filter to get back some of that characteristic. Now, a diffusion filter is going to affect three main things, what we call resolution, halation, and contrast. Now, this is where the misconception for Black Pro Mist kind of comes in there. You often hear people just say that it just does all of these things, if not equally. It warms up the image, it blooms the highlights, it does all of this stuff. But check out this image right here, which Tiffen calls the triangle of diffusion. As you can see, not only do they make a bunch of different filters to do a bunch of different things, the triangle kind of represents all the different areas, which is halation, resolution, and contrast there. And as you could see, Black Pro Mist sits over here, which is really high halation there, but less than what they do for all the other contrast reductions there and resolution reduction as well. So your Black Pro Mist filters actually retains a lot more of the blacks while giving you the halation that most people are looking for. And then there's other filters that will do a little bit more or a little bit less of some of the elements that we're talking about there. All right, but that's a lot of talking. Let me show you what we're doing here. I'm going to use this frame here, especially because I'm using black and I have a couple hard light sources here in the image, just to kind of show you and give you good examples of what we're talking about. And then I'll show you some other image here as well. But let me take off the filter so I can show you here. Pop the filter back on. That's with the 1/8 there. You can already see that's blooming there, as you can see the difference in the light here. Also pay attention to how much my shirt is changing there. As you can see, it lifts up the blacks just a little bit there, but not too much in the black. Now this is the 1/4 strength there. You could see the blacks are lifted just even more. There's even more halation going on there. If I bring this back in there, you could see that is blooming there a lot as well. Also pay attention to my skin tones and how much that is being smoothed out as well. Enough of just me here. Let's jump into some other test footage that I have here. This first setup here is a typical 3-point lighting setup. So this is with it clean here. As you can see, no real blooming of anything going on here. And then this is with the 1/8 there. And as you could see, as you pay attention to the tube light that is in the scene there, you could see that it is blooming a lot more there. A little bit more softening over the image there. But you could see the whole thing is kind of lifted up there just a little bit, just lowering the contrast just a little bit there. Then as we switch from the 1/8 to the 1/4 there, you could see even a lot more blooming, a little bit more contrast there over the image there. I think in a controlled environment like this here, especially for a close-up, you could use the 1/4 more than the 1/8 there. All right, next up here, we have an outdoor scene here. It was sunlight, kind of blowing out the highlights just a little bit here, but this is with nothing here. This is just a clean shot here. She's a little bit backlit there, so there's a little bit more shadows on the face there. But this is the clean shot here. And then this is the 1/8. Look at how much contrast and how much bloom in there. Because we don't have the sun directly in the light there, but because it's coming over there, you can see how much in the trees, even on our skin tones, it smooths out the skin tones a lot there, but you do see a lot more of contrast reduction there in this particular shot here because we're using it outdoors. And then as you could see here, switching to the 1/4, it really seems like it's warming up the image a lot. But that's not really what's happening there. What's really happening there is really accentuating the sun, which is coming from her left side, which would be the right side of the image that you're looking at there. For our last test shot here, I wanted to show how this would look in a product videography situation here. So I just did a quick setup here, 3 light point setup there, just a top down with the tube lights in the background here. But this is what it looks like clean there. And then this is the 1/8 here. And as you could see with that hard source there, you are seeing the halation and the contrast reduction there, which sometimes works hand in hand, but also a little bit more roll off on those highlights there with this X pattern for this shot here. And then we have the 1/4, which again seems like it warms up the image just a bit more there. But what you're really seeing is the highlights just blooming there a lot more. Alright, so the question is, in conclusion, which one would you choose? I choose to have both here. Tiffen did send these particular sets over to me, but I've bought other ones consequently to go on some of my other lenses there as well. I would buy both. However, if I did have to just choose one, because the halation can be so intense even on the 1/4 there, unless you're going for that specific look there, but for everyday uses there, if you're using a Black Pro Mist, I would go with the 1/8. But the real question is do I even use this filter for everyday use? And the answer is no. To figure out which lens it is that I do use all the time there to give me my particular preference on cinematic look there, go ahead and click this video right here. If you're super early, hit the subscribe button and the notification button for the future video, and I'll see you over in that one. Big up yourself. Peace.